Your first sign of metabolic weakness was not high blood sugar. Your first sign of insulin resistance was not a headache. The first sign of insulin resistance wasn't your glucose monitor going off. The first sign of insulin resistance might have been something a whole lot smaller. You might not even realize, in fact, you could have been insulin resistant for 10 to 15 years before anything ever showed up. Guys, I'm Coach Ken, and welcome into this recording and this opportunity to hear from somebody that just does this so very well in addressing reversing insulin resistance. And I know I can talk about it, but sometimes it's great to hear from somebody else. And I always love to learn from Dr. Kenny Harless. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into his call and let's hear from Dr. Kenny, really the core of insulin resistance and its impact on your life and mine when it comes to our health.
Thank you so much. And Amaria is the one that actually shared this with me. So when I saw this, just a little background, I was very blessed, very successful in practice. And I was able to build a really large practice in Michigan. And my wife, I'd lost my health, got really sick a couple years ago, and just God put me in a space where I had to grow in ways that I didn't even know how. And it is the greatest blessing of my life after we had to sell our house and move our family again. But I was toying with going back into practice here in Florida. And I'm so grateful that I found this because now I get to work and travel the world with wonderful people like Anne Marie and a few people here on this call. And I travel city to city. I just got back from Germany and it's been a life-altering experience. So what is this and what are we looking at? Well, I had almost every warning sign that I'm getting ready to share with you. And I was totally ignorant of this and it nearly cost me my life. And when you look over here to the right, I just want you to think for a moment. Do you know people right now that are struggling with belly fat, with skin tags, inflammation, joint pain, their cholesterol's up, their HDL's down, they have sleep apnea. My God, my poor wife, I mean, having to sleep next to me for a while, blood sugar cravings, constant cravings. I mean, I had all of these things. And if you know people struggling with these things, you're going to want to pay attention because this is that opportunity that we can make a difference and impact their lives. And so here's what happens. When you look over here to the left, what the food industries have done is they have conditioned us to believe that you need to eat every 2 hours to keep your metabolism elevated. And what people don't understand is that every 2 hours, that if you eat every 2 hours, when you eat, your blood sugar goes up. And if your blood sugar goes up, your insulin has to go up to bring it back down. Now, if you're a diabetic, you're going to inject insulin to bring it back down. My question to you, do these companies make money when you eat or when you don't, when you take medications or when you don't? So once insulin stays elevated over a long enough period of time, what is going to happen is the cells will stop listening. And this can happen for up to 15 years, and you're getting all of these warning signs like check engine lights on your car popping up all over the place. You're starting to get eczema, rashes, skin conditions, you name it. And this starts to lead, insulin resistance is the root. And this is what creates the medical industry's fruit.
Right.
And if you fix the root, you will start to see changes in this fruit. Now, with this, I used to see as a chiropractor, I can't even tell you how many neuropathy patients, sciatica, migraines, had no idea that this was linked to insulin resistance. I had no idea that my wife's polycystic ovarian syndrome that she had for 20 years, that she was able to reverse in a matter of less than 2 months on this protocol that I'm going to share with you. And we had 2 miscarriages. We had 7 years to have our child. Heart disease, when you become insulin resistant for about a 20-year period, that's how long it takes before you lose control of blood sugar.
Welcome in. I see we've got some folks coming in. Make sure that you introduce yourself, where you're coming in from, and we're going to get right back to Dr. Kenny, but I just wanted to welcome you in. I'm Coach Ken up in Anchorage, Alaska, and I hope this will be a little bit of education and might help you with some things. So stay tuned and keep listening. Ask any questions that you want.
And when you lose control of blood sugar, this is known as type 2 diabetes. And heart disease goes up and cardiovascular disease by 80%. Alzheimer's and dementia goes up 81%. erectile dysfunction, and obesity, just to name a few. So I saw an absolutely monstrophic need. And I'm so grateful that I was able to partner with this company that's privately held that has zero debt. Now, this company looked at it and they realized in the 70s when cholesterol became a thing, the drug industries came out with statins. Now, if those things are so effective, why is cardiovascular disease still the number one cause of death? Our company decided if they took the fiber out of the food, and why would the companies do this? What do you give a diabetic to drink when their blood sugar is too low? And the higher your blood sugar goes, the more insulin your body has to create. Are you guys getting it? And so if you eat a piece of fruit versus drinking the juice, your blood sugar is completely different. Fiber suppresses blood sugar. And the lower you keep blood sugar, the less insulin you got to make, and you reverse the wheel. So
Hey, welcome those of y'all that are stopping in. I'm Coach Ken. I'm up in Anchorage, Alaska. Just want to welcome you here. We're talking about reversing insulin resistance, and we're just addressing the issues of fiber in our diet. So if you've got questions about that, it's one of the areas that I work with. Dr. Kenny's kind of breaking this down a little bit, but I'm going to be here to talk a little bit afterwards as well. So if you've got questions, make sure that you put those in the comment or let me know where you're coming in from.
So these products that I'm going to share with you are patented. They cannot be copied. There are now over 24 clinical studies on these. Places like Cornell, the Cleveland Clinic, the number one heart institute on the planet. Why would they study fiber? We're going to show you why. Also, too, UCLA, UNLV, just to name a few. Now, these products are listed in the physician's desk reference known as the prescriber's digital reference. This is where your doctors will actually prescribe drugs from. These are not supplements that are not standardized. These are nutraceuticals, which means they are pharmaceutical grade plant substances found in the PDR. And here's what this does. We're in 64 countries. And this is so effective that we guarantee it, and it's cost neutral. Now you might be saying, well, how can something be cost neutral if you're spending $5 a day a cup of coffee? Let me show you how. This is the 3-step protocol. So you wake up in the morning and you're going to drink this Unimate. It is an extract of yerba mate. It is the highest concentration of chlorogenic acid on the planet, which acts like natural metformin. And it acts like a GLP-1 injection, but no shots, no side effects. So when you wake in the morning, your insulin levels are low. And when insulin is low, the fat's got to go. I always teach people this simple way to remember it. The companies of the food industry need you to eat. They want you to eat first thing in the morning. And what's the most important meal of your day? Breaking your fast. The word breakfast means break fast. Kellogg sold you that to sell you cereal, which spikes your blood sugar the highest. We're going to use this protocol to keep your blood sugar and insulin low from the get-go. When you get to lunch, if you're hungry, you eat. We recommend you eat lunch, and well, now the blood sugar, as you can see, will go up. And if you use proper food order, which we talk about, it'll come back down. Now, in between lunch and dinner, this is where I used to lose myself. Or when I would break my fast, I would want a lot of carbohydrates, pastas, pizzas. This tea crushes that food noise. Now, in this, you're going to sip the second tea between lunch and dinner, and that's going to keep your blood sugar low, but it's going to kill the food noise. And then you're going to eat your largest meal. And if that happens to be dinner, you're going to use this second or third component of the protocol, the balance. This is 7 different plant fiber blends, and it is clinically proven to reduce your triglycerides by 11%. It brings down your A1C by 3% over a 30-day window. It also suppresses blood sugar spikes by almost half at 43%. Metformin does 25 to 30%, and that's the protocol. Now,
hey guys, welcome in. I'm Coach Ken. If you missed hearing from Dr. Kenny, not a big deal. This will be up on my website later, and I want to encourage you to come back. I'm going to stop sharing that and jump on over. I know this is the resolution isn't as good as I normally do for me to do these and restream them. It doesn't allow me to do but the resolution so far. So I hope you don't mind, and you don't have to look at me long. I'll be back on live in a little bit. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. So Dr. Kenny just spent time going over the protocol. And here's the thing. If you're dealing with insulin resistance, that's what this channel is really about. And I want to welcome you in. I am Coach Ken, the Wellness Preacher. I'm up here in Anchorage, Alaska. And if you are dealing with any of these issues that Dr. Kenny brought up, that he was talking about PCOS, erectile dysfunction, heart disease, yes, type 2 diabetes, of course, you talk about insulin, that's what we think about. But this last year, Dr. G, my wife and I, we were talking, we lost 19 friends between the ages of 50 and 60, all from factors related to insulin resistance. We are both widows, having lost both of our spouses to conditions related to insulin resistance. So I don't come to you today as just a coach. I come to you as a friend, that the last thing that I want to do is to see you suffering, in a struggle, attached so much to the idea that medications are going to cure you that you miss the reality that when somebody's on a medication, it's a Band-Aid. And if you're continuing need to take metformin, statins, GLP-1s for the rest of your life, you haven't reversed a condition. You are dealing with the condition for the rest of your life. It's a Band-Aid that has to be put on the wound, if you will, because the focus is on somehow the idea that you've got a germ, and you don't. You have something wrong with the terrain of your body. There are two different approaches to pathophysiology within medicine. One is germ theory, and there are communicable diseases. And some of those diseases will lead to chronic diseases, but in 90% of people, chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's, PCOS, erectile dysfunction, neuropathy, fibromyalgia, I can go on, right? They're related to the terrain of your body, to the health of your body. And you don't usually get to hear about that theory. I didn't. I missed that one. It was not in my biology and health classes. And so one of the reasons I became a nutrition coach was to help people reverse the conditions. And so this protocol that Dr. Kenny was talking about, and eating in the correct food order, and intermittent fasting together will help to reverse insulin resistance, those conditions. I want you to be the hero of your story. It's not about me. It's about you. It is about you, my friend. And I say this to all my friends out there. When I could sit down and talk to them, it sucks to sit there and get on the phone with people that don't want to hear, and think that, it's easy to look at it that way. As a nutrition coach, I don't really impart. I do care. I do care. Whether you buy the products or not is irrelevant to me. It's learning what it is. And if you look at the star or look at your hand, I'm going to give you 5 questions you need to ask yourself for your overall health. And if you'll just take this, let it set in your heart, your soul. How are you eating? Number 1, how are you exercising? Right there gives you the okay right there. You do those 2 things right there will start you on a path to health, and at least allow you to be self-reflected about what you're doing and why you're sick. Okay? Can we just be okay with that? How are you eating? How are you exercising? What are your extras? What are your supplements? What are your supplements? What are you doing? What vitamins and minerals are you missing that you need to get? That one right there, you need to be asking. All right. How are you, or what was my 4th one? Who are you encouraging? Look, when you learn something new, you need to share it. If you write it down, that's a great way to do it. But you are going to learn the more you teach people. The reason that I teach is because I know it becomes more a part of who I am. These are things I'm not forgetting now. Look, at 54, I do feel more like I'm 24. And I feel more in control of my body, mind, and soul more than I ever have. And I want the same for you. I want you to be the same for you, but I can't want it for you more than you want it. I mean, that really is the issue. And it's one of the reasons I'm a coach, is to sit there and say, I want to know what your goals are. How can I help build you up? So these 5 questions are ones for reflection, not to sit there and say, I'm going to come down on you or anything. All right. The last one is, how are you elevating? How are you elevating? How is your soul being lifted up? Because we are whole people, beings, body, mind, and soul. Now, a big part of what I do is the coaching. These are the best products on the planet. If you're missing those extras, right here are the best extras that you could possibly hope to get to reverse insulin resistance and get your metabolic health back. I know because I did it. I know because my wife did it. I know because I've had client after client after client after client, and I've heard story after story after story of people that have done it. Now, if you're great being sick and tired, I'm not going to get in the way of that. If you like being on the medications and you trust your doctor, you look, it was the old saying, what is it? If you like your doctor, you keep your doctor. I'm not saying you have to give up your doctor. I'm asking you, and I have a whole set of questions to throw out there. Hey, Sylvia, you're on my early live today. You're on my early live today. This is my live on specifically lecture. So I'm guessing you probably missed the lecture. I'll have my regular one on. Well, they're all regular. This is just my early one. So welcome in. Stay tuned. I got a few things I got to do. This is my early morning live, so I get a little bit of CE, and I like to share that with people. So, yeah, awesome. Yeah, this is kind of a fuzzy resolution. Isn't good on this, but it's good to be able to share my screen on that. So, just hang loose. I will be back on in just a little bit. I'm getting ready to jump off. But this is going to be recorded for later. And I know if you've got questions, I'll be back on to talk. So thanks so much for stopping in. Thanks for the likes and the hearts as well. Everybody that came by this morning. One of the things I am going to share too, as far as it relates to, I meant to say this, the video that I'm going to do today, this is it's Friday. And if you are in the season of Lent, if you recognize Lent, I'm a Methodist clergy. John Wesley, years ago, had the Oxford Club, his group in college, that would do fasting Wednesdays and Fridays. Particular reasons for that. We can go into that later. But Friday fasting, if you have not fasted, this is a great day to do it. I know it's still early. If you're on the East Coast, it's only 8:45. So if you haven't had breakfast yet, I'm going to encourage you to skip that. Just start a practice of fasting for your body, for your soul, for your mind. All right. I know it's going to blow your mind a little bit, but even if you just give up one meal, all right, use your stomach growling to be a reminder to take a moment of meditation, pray, and to remember who you are. All right. Hey, Iron Man fan, good to see you. Welcome in. Welcome in. Why is everybody's coming on my early live today? What's up with that, man? So glad that you're here. I'll stick on for a few minutes. If you've got any questions, like I said, this is my live specifically. We just did a whole lecture about insulin resistance with Dr. Kenny Harless. That was my guest today. So if you want to check that, go make sure to see that. All right. I will be back on shortly. So just stay tuned. If you subscribe, you'll know that. Make sure you get my alerts, and I'll be back on. All right. Go get the day. Make it golden. Go be excellent to one another, and go be excellent to yourself. We'll see you back around on the flip side. Oh, I looked lonely. Oh no, I get how these work. I'm still new to being on TikTok, and it's all right. But thank you so much, Iron Man fan. I'm not lonely at all. I can talk to myself pretty much all day long. So it's not a big deal. It is growing the channel. And the only way to do that is to sit here and talk to people. You know what? And that's all I can do. And I'll find my audience, but I appreciate you willing, and I hope that this is helpful. And I hope that you'll enjoy it. So make sure you subscribe so you come back and hear what I'm talking about. It's just a slow growth. This is totally new. Yeah, just because the room doesn't have many people in it doesn't mean I'm lonely. But I appreciate it. It's always good to have guests on. And that's what matters. So, and if you're wanting to really get into what it is to be healthy and as a whole person, and not just the doing nothing online, then this is a good place to be. All right. So yeah, make sure that you guys subscribe, and I'll be back on shortly. So